Hello everyone. Welcome back to Mr. Twilight, where we explore mysterious, chilling, and sometimes unbelievable stories together. Today, I want to take you to a forest known as one of the scariest in the world. When it comes to dense forests, you're probably familiar with Okigahara in Japan or the vast Amazon rainforest. But the one I'm talking about is located in the heart of Europe, in Transylvania, Romania, a region famously tied to the legends of vampires and Contracula. Its name is Hoia Baciu. Many of you may not have heard of this name before, but in Europe, Hoia Baciu is considered an incredibly eerie place. Infamous for a variety of legends, UFO sightings, mysterious glowing lights, barren tree circles, and even speculation that it serves as a gateway to another world. Are you curious about how a forest of less than 300 hectares has managed to attract so many terrifying stories, even earning the nickname Romania's Bermuda Triangle? In today's analysis, we'll take a step-by-step journey into Hoia Baciu, uncovering the facts, legends, and even scientific studies surrounding this mysterious forest. So, sit back, get comfortable, and brace yourself because this story isn't for the faint of heart. Background and first impressions of Hoia Baciu to begin. Let's go over the basics because Hoia Baciu didn't earn its reputation as a cursed forest by mere coincidence. Located on the western outskirts of Cluj, Napoca in Transylvania, Romania, Hoia Baciu spans only about 250–300 hectares, not particularly large compared to other notorious primeval forests. Yet, stepping inside, you'll immediately feel as if you've entered another realm where time slows down. Sunlight struggles to pierce through the canopy, and most unsettling of all, the trees take on bizarre, twisted shapes. Some trunks spiral, bend, and contort in ways that seem almost unnatural. At first, I thought maybe it's just a result of unique climate or soil conditions. But then, why do other Romanian forests with similar environments not have such deformed, eerie-looking trees? Just this sight alone gives off an unsettling aura, as if the forest itself is hiding something within its twisted, distorted growth. Locals often warn visitors, if you enter Hoia Baciu, stay in a group. Don't wander off alone, and bring a compass because sometimes phones lose signal or worse, they experience interference. Interference. No signal. Yes, there have been numerous reports of unusual electromagnetic activity in certain areas of the forest. Of course, I'll go into more scientific explanations later, but for now, just know this. Hoia Baciu has a way of making people feel lost, both literally and figuratively. And that is just the beginning of the eerie legends of the haunted forest we're about to explore. UFO legends and interdimensional portals. The name Hoia Baciu first gained attention in the 1960s when a Romanian biologist caught in an unidentified flying object flamed a reject over the forest. He even managed to capture a few black and white photographs showing a circular glowing light hovering in the sky. Though the image quality was poor, it sparked curiosity. Could this be a UFO landing site? Since then, reports of strange lights and floating orbs have surfaced sporadically over the years. Visitors and locals alike have described seeing streaks of light and fireballs hovering at night. In the modern era, several YouTube videos capture mysterious glowing trails moving slowly before vanishing. Many UFO and paranormal channels have latched onto Hoia Baciu as evidence of extraterrestrial activity in Romania. Of course, scientific explanations suggest that these lights could be fireflies, reflections from nocturnal insects. or chemical reactions in the humid forest air. But imagine standing in a dark, silent forest when suddenly a glowing orb drifts across your vision, regardless of the explanation. Your heart would likely race. No discussion of Hoia Baciu is complete without mentioning the empty circle, a bizarre circular clearing near the forest center where trees refuse to grow. Even the few that do sprout remain stunted and wither quickly. The area, known locally as Hoia Rotund, spans several dozen meters in diameter. While the surrounding forest is lush and dense, the circle itself remains eerily barren, covered in sparse, patchy grass. Many believe this clearing is either a UFO landing site or even a portal to another dimension. Some people have claimed, "I stood in the circle and suddenly felt time freeze for a few seconds." Others recount entering the circle, losing consciousness and waking up 1 to 2 hours later, despite feeling as though only minutes had passed. Though these accounts may sound far-fetched, they continue to spread. Most stories follow the classic pattern of friend of a relative experienced this, or a foreign traveler shared this on a blog, making them difficult to verify. From a skeptical, scientific perspective, one possible explanation is that the soil in this area lacks essential nutrients or contains high levels of heavy metals, preventing tree growth. Indeed, soil analyses have detected anomalies, but nothing extreme enough to render the land entirely uninhabitable for vegetation. Yet, Hoia Baciu's eerie reputation extends beyond the empty circle. Electronic devices often malfunction in various parts of the forest, further fueling beliefs that some invisible energy, not just poor soil, affects the land. Hoia Baciu, through a scientific lens, both amateur and professional research teams have brought electromagnetic field, set EMF meters into Hoia Baciu, hoping to measure anomalies. Their findings: in some areas, EMF levels spike dramatically, while in others, they remain perfectly normal. This suggests that the forest may sit atop metallic ore deposits or a geological formation that disrupts electromagnetic fields. From a neuroscience perspective, mild electromagnetic disturbances can affect human perception, leading to dizziness, disorientation, and even panic attacks, especially in an eerie, dark forest. In such conditions, the mind can easily fabricate supernatural encounters. Similarly, when compasses or GPS devices fail, people often assume a paranormal force is at work, rather than a simple issue with weak signals or magnetic interference. Perhaps the most visually striking feature of Hoia Baciu is its twisted trees. Photos don't do them justice. Some trunks bend at sharp 90-degree angles before growing in another direction, forming zigzags or spirals. Others coil like springs, leaving first-time visitors with a deep sense of unease, as if unseen forces had warped them. Biologists offer rational explanations. The trees may have been affected by strong winds, fungal infections, soil instability, insect damage, or genetic mutations disrupting their growth. Similar twisted trees exist elsewhere, such as the crooked forest in Poland. However, because Hoia Baciu already carries a sinister reputation, its distorted trees only reinforce its aura of mystery and dread. Ultimately, the human mind plays a huge role in shaping fear. In a silent forest where shadows stretch unnaturally, even a gust of wind through the leaves can sound like whispers or ghostly laughter. Feeling watched or glimpsing a fleeting white figure may simply be the mind playing tricks under stress. This is why many psychologists suggest that Hoia Baciu doesn't just host ghosts, it creates them in the minds of those who enter. fear itself becomes the true haunting presence in the forest. Mysteries of crime and disappearances. When discussing scary forests, many people immediately think of murder cases, mysterious corpses, or a series of unexplained disappearances. However, in the case of Hoia Baciu, there are no official statistics confirming multiple missing persons with no explanation. So why does it still carry the reputation of being a haunted forest? Locals often tell stories of people entering the forest and disappearing for several days, only to return with no memory of what happened. Others claim, "I thought I had only been walking for about 30 minutes, but when I checked my watch, 3 or 4 hours had passed." Some tourists have shared similar experiences on their blogs, describing how their phones lost signal, their compasses spun wildly, and they ended up wandering aimlessly for hours before finding their way out. One person even claimed, "I was covered in scratches as if something had clawed at me while I ran around in a panic." However, these accounts remain unverified, with no evidence beyond the storyteller's word. Romanian authorities have no official records of permanent disappearances in Hoia Baciu. That said, fear and disorientation can easily set in when someone is overwhelmed by terror in a dense, unfamiliar forest. In reality, local law enforcement primarily warns visitors about petty crime, thieves lurking to steal from unsuspecting tourists, pickpocketing, or even car break-ins near the entrance. Since Hoia Baciu is relatively close to Cluj, Napoca, it occasionally attracts such criminal activity. But is there evidence of a serial killer lurking in the forest? No. The mystery of crime in Hoia Baciu remains mostly speculation rather than proven fact. The spiritual perspective, energy, and ghosts. Beyond scientific explanations such as electromagnetic interference and psychological effects, many people believe that Hoia Baciu possesses a supernatural energy that discourages intruders. Some locals even say, if you carry guilt or unresolved anger in your heart, the forest will reject you. You'll hear eerie whispers calling your name and become trapped in a never-ending loop. Is this a form of spiritual punishment? Romania has a rich folklore tradition, and Transylvania, in particular, is steeped in legends of vampires, werewolves, and witches. Some believe that in ancient times, Hoia Baciu was the site of ritual sacrifices, where unjust deaths left behind wandering souls seeking vengeance. There is no archaeological evidence to support these claims, but they align well with Transylvania's eerie reputation. Visitors to the region often expect a supernatural experience, making them more likely to interpret anything unusual as paranormal. Many tourists report seeing shadowy figures or ghostly apparitions flitting between the trees. Some describe a woman in a flowing white dress, while others claim to have seen ghostly children running through the woods. Numerous YouTube videos capture fleeting, indistinct figures in the background, often followed by frightened screams from the camera operator. Of course, most of these videos are suspected to be staged, or at least the result of camera glitches, lighting effects, or shaky hands. However, for those fascinated by the paranormal, even the hint of a ghostly presence is enough to send chills down their spine. From a spiritual perspective, locals believe Hoia Baciu is filled with lost souls. They claim that anyone who dies unjustly is trapped in the forest, unable to move on, just like the setting of a horror movie's forbidden forest. Whether one believes this or not, it's a matter of faith rather than science. Tourism and spine-chilling stories despite its eerie reputation. Hoia Baciu has become a popular destination for adventure seekers. Some travel companies include Napoca even offer specialized tours, taking visitors on guided hikes, camping trips, and even overnight ghost hunting experiences. These excursions have only fueled more spooky stories. Many visitors film and photograph their journey as souvenirs. But upon reviewing their footage, they often find missing time gaps where they can't remember what they were doing or where they went. Some claim their cameras turned off by themselves, or their videos were mysteriously corrupted. This has fueled theories about time slips or memory erasure. The logical explanation: weak signal interference, faulty memory cards, or simply accidental pauses in recording. However, paranormal rumors always sound more exciting than "your camera malfunctioned." Another popular rumor suggests that secretive groups perform rituals in Hoia Baciu. Some believe these could be occult followers or witchcraft practitioners gathering in the clearing to summon spirits. If an unsuspecting tourist were to stumble upon such a scene, the shock alone would be terrifying. Local authorities have not found concrete evidence of cult activity in the forest. However, let's be honest, every remote forest occasionally attracts mysterious visitors. Given Transylvania's deep connection with folklore about witches, vampires, and the supernatural, stories of dark rituals in Hoia Baciu only add to its chilling allure. Even without first-hand witnesses, all it takes is a small rumor to spark legend upgrade over time. Research and famous investigations, Hoia Baciu has been the subject of numerous books and documentaries. Channels like Discovery Channel and Travel Channel have sent crews into the forest, attempting to capture evidence of paranormal activity. Their conclusions: no definitive proof yet, but plenty of strange occurrences. In other words, they might record unusual sounds, flickering lights, or unexplained figures, but ultimately leave the interpretation up to the audience. Yet, this lack of certainty has only increased Hoia Baciu's notoriety within the paranormal community. Skeptics argue it's just a clever tourism marketing strategy. There's no such thing as ghosts. But then, there are visitors who return from Hoia Baciu with unexplained bruises and scratches, insisting something invisible attacked me. Others share photographs showing strange orbs of light or faint white figures in the background. Of course, these anomalies can often be explained by dust particles reflecting light, camera lens flares, or simple optical illusions. But let's be honest, who doesn't enjoy a good ghost story? So how scary is Hoia Baciu really? Whenever someone asks, is Hoia Baciu actually dangerous? We need to consider two aspects: physical hazards and psychological hazards. Compared to larger, wilder forests, Hoia Baciu does not have a high number of reported dangerous wildlife or venomous snakes. Local law enforcement does not classify it as a crime hotspot. Incidents like getting lost, falling, injuries, or losing contact can still happen due to the forest terrain. Thus, the greatest danger is being unprepared for an adventure lacking navigation tools, going alone, not bringing enough water, or panicking if you lose your way. For those who are more sensitive or easily frightened, the dark atmosphere, strange noises, and chilling legends can trigger anxiety and distress. Disorientation and emotional turmoil can worsen due to rumors of UFOs, ghosts, and paranormal activity. Even minor natural events like a sudden gust of wind, a falling branch, or a flickering light can fuel an endless spiral of fear and imagination. Considering both aspects, we can conclude that Hoia Baciu is not a death trap, where people enter and never return. However, it has the potential to push visitors into a mental state of panic very quickly, especially if they are not mentally prepared, physically fit, or traveling alone. This is what gives the forest its fearsome reputation, because the unknown is often far scarier than any wild animal. Thinking of visiting Hoia Baciu? Here's some advice if you're considering an adventure to Hoia Baciu someday. Here are a few essential tips. Go with a group or a guide. Never venture alone, especially at night. Getting lost isn't the only risk. You also have to battle your own fears. Bring the right equipment: GPS, a compass, and a paper map in case your phone battery dies or loses signal. Never underestimate nature, and anything can happen in a forest. Respect the environment. Hoia Baciu has ecological value, and it's not just a haunted playground. Keep it clean, don't litter, and avoid damaging the area. Stay calm. That white figure gliding past, or that strange sound in the distance. It might just be a bird or the fog playing tricks on you. Keep your cool, don't let fear control you. Enjoy the mystery. If you love eerie, thrilling experiences, Hoia Baciu will give you plenty of stories to tell. But keep it safe. Don't push your limits by challenging forces you don't fully understand. A final thought before you sleep tonight. If you're reading or watching this late at night, with only a dim light flickering in the background, try closing your eyes and imagining you're standing at the edge of Hoia Baciu. Around you, twisted trees tower high, blocking the moonlight. A cold breeze sweeps through, rustling the dry leaves beneath your feet. And somewhere, deep in the mist ahead, a faint glow hovers silent, waiting. Will you step forward, or will you turn and run? Regardless of your choice, just hearing the name Hoia Baciu is enough to make your heart skip a beat out of both curiosity and fear. And that is the timeless allure of mysterious places. They remind us that the world is still full of unknowns. That, as much as we live by logic and reason, we still crave the thrill of the unexplained. To test our courage and stretch our imagination. Thank you for joining me on this journey through Hoia Baciu. This has been a mental adventure, but who knows? Maybe one day, you'll be the one packing your bags and stepping into this legendary forest yourself. If you do, don't forget to share your experience with Dark Journey. I'd love to hear it firsthand. Did you see a shadowy figure? Did your watch mysteriously stop? Or will you simply smile and say, it wasn't as scary as the legends claim? Either way, tonight before you sleep, take one last look out your window. If you notice a twisted tree silhouette standing under the streetlight, don't panic. It's probably just a normal tree. Or maybe, just maybe, a small piece of Hoia Baciu has found its way into our world. Sleep well, and see you in the next chilling mystery